Stop. I came to pull the emergency brake on your soul before you run another red light into another week of quiet despair. Make a note of this. Write this down. Your job sustains you. Your work fulfills you. If you confuse them, you will survive professionally and die internally. This is for housewives, students, executives, gig workers, pastors, politicians, everyone hiding behind a title, everyone paid on Friday but bankrupt by Monday in meaning. Hear me as a father. Stop. Breathe. We will not quit our jobs today. We will redefine them today. Let me anchor you in a truth older than your paycheck. In the beginning, Scripture says, God placed the man in the garden to work it and to keep it. Work came before wages, before titles, before a business card. Work is divine. Jobs are human arrangements. Write this down. A job is what they pay you to do. Work is what you were born to deliver. You are his workmanship, says the apostle, created for good works, prepared in advance. That means your work existed before your employment contract. What did I say? Before they hired you, heaven assigned you. Let me ask you a dangerous question. Are you employed but unemployed from your assignment? Employed by an organization, but unemployed by your original design. Employed by a salary, but unemployed by your service. Woe to the land, Scripture warns, when a slave becomes king. I extend that principle. Woe to the person when a title becomes their master. The more letters you need after your name, the less you have discovered before your name. Reduce yourself to your first name and ask, who am I without the badge? Some of you, your alarm clock is an enemy. Monday is a sentence. You walk into a building, sit at a desk, click a mouse, and your soul whispers treason. Why? Because you have fed your survival and starved your significance. There are two economies in your life, survival and significance, and we will speak about them. But today, we put up a stop sign. Jesus declared, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The prison of confusion ends with a revelation. A job pays bills, your work pays destiny. Say it again to yourself. A job pays bills, my work pays destiny. Hear me. True leadership is not about power, it is about purpose. True leadership is not about position, it is about disposition and internal conviction to serve your gift to the world. Most of the people you call leaders are simply title custodians. Titles can make you impressive, only purpose makes you impactful. When the paycheck becomes your purpose, you sell your birthright for soup. When the paycheck becomes your platform, you turn Pharaoh's brick pit into Moses' training ground. Which one have you made it? This is not a call to irresponsibility. Don't misquote me. We are not turning in resignations at 9 a.m. We are turning in excuses at 9 a.m. You will go to work tomorrow, but you will bring your work with you. Employment is a vehicle. Stop worshiping the steering wheel. We will use it to carry the cargo of your gift, not to redefine your identity. God said, I give you the power to create wealth, not just the power to wait for wages. That power is your gift. Your job is a channel. Your work is the source. I remember arguing with God at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why are so many good people miserable in good jobs? And I heard a whisper in my spirit, because they have mistaken maintenance for meaning. I wrote it down. Maintenance pays rent. Meaning pays legacy. Some of you are overemployed in maintenance and underemployed in meaning. You wear two uniforms, the company's colors on your body, and fear's chains on your soul. That is the double employment trap. Employed by a corporation and employed by anxiety, employed by schedules and employed by the opinions of people who do not know your assignment. Stop. Lay down the second job, the internal slavery. Write this down. Security without significance is a slow death. Significance without structure is a fast crash. We will not choose one. We will align them. Today we begin the alignment. We will learn to let your employment fund, expose, and distribute your God-given work. We will not destroy the bridge that feeds your children. We will strengthen it to carry your calling across. Timing is leadership, and we will talk about when to stay and when to step. But first you must see the difference, because you cannot steward what you cannot define. I want every title in this room to bow to your identity. Students, your diploma is a receipt, not a destiny. Executives, your corner office is a window, not a mirror. Gig workers, your app is a marketplace, not a master. Pastors, your pulpit is furniture, your work is to equip the saints for their work. Politicians, your seat is temporary, your service must be eternal. Write it down. Jobs are seasonal, work is eternal. To everything there is a season, says Ecclesiastes. Seasons change, assignments endure. So here is the command as we begin. Stop running on autopilot. Call a meeting with yourself. Announce to your soul, from today, my job sustains me. My work fulfills me. I will no longer demand fulfillment from what was designed only to sustain. That one decision will begin to break the back of Monday's despair. We will chart the path from survival to significance in this journey. But freedom starts with a stop sign. Look at it. Honor it. Obey it. Then we move. Now hear me. As we lay the foundation, there are two economies operating in your life every single day. Survival and significance. One funds you, the other fulfills you. Write this down. Survival is about maintenance. Significance is about meaning. Survival protects life. Significance produces life. If you reverse them, anxiety becomes your supervisor and burnout becomes your HR department. Let me define what we will use for the rest of this journey. A job is a contract for time and task. Work is the deployment of your God-given gift for the good of others. Make a note of this. A job is a place. Work is a purpose. A job is a role. Work is a result. A job is an arrangement. Work is an assignment. What did I say? A job is what and work is what? Say it again until your soul hears you. True leadership is not about control. It is about service. True leadership is not about paychecks. It is about purpose. The survival economy speaks wages. The significance economy speaks worth. Jesus said, man shall not live by bread alone, which means the survival economy cannot feed your soul. Then he adds, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added. That is the significance economy subsidizing the survival economy. When purpose is first, provision follows. When provision is first, purpose is suffocated. Write this down. You can be fired from a job. You cannot be fired from your work. They can close your department, but they cannot close your design. They can cancel your contract, but they cannot cancel your calling. The gifts and calling of God are without repentance, the scripture declares. Heaven does not recall what it has released. So here is the question. Are you protecting what they can take while neglecting what they cannot take? Where did he make you one? In your title? No, in your gift. The survival economy is necessary. Don't be foolish. The laborer is worthy of his wages. But wages were never meant to replace your works. Jesus said, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Not I must chase the checks of those who hired me. Checks chase order. Work chases assignment. Write it down. Money is a byproduct of mastery, not the master of your soul. In the garden, work came before money, meaning preceded maintenance. You were created to contribute before you were ever compensated. Let me come to your desk for a moment. A nurse wears a badge at the hospital. That is a job. But she was sent to heal, comfort the fearful, bring order to chaos, advocate for the voiceless. That is work. A teacher signs a contract with a district. That is a job. But he was born to unlock curiosity, to see a child's future and call it forward. That is work. An accountant balances ledgers. That is a job. But she was graced to steward order, build trust with truth and numbers. That is work. A driver delivers parcels. That is a job. But he was assigned to deliver reliability, to be a rhythm of dependability. That is work. Housewife, student, mechanic, clerk, pastor, politician. Listen, your uniforms are different, but your distinction is the same. Your work is the disciplined service of your gift. to meet a need. When you misdefine these, you suffer 3 thefts. Write them down. Number 1, burnout. The body collapses under the burden of being your soul's savior. Number 2, anxiety. The mind carries tomorrow's bills without yesterday's belief. Number 3, identity theft. You begin to introduce yourself by what they titled you instead of who God designed you. The more labels you require to feel valuable, the less you have discovered your value. Reduce yourself to your first name and ask, what result follows me when no one is paying me? Let me train your mouth, because your mouth trains your mind. Say it with me. My job funds me, my work fulfills me. Again, my job is a place, my work is a purpose. One more time. You can fire me from the job, you cannot fire me from my work. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Freedom begins when language is corrected. Now, practical wisdom. The survival economy is the current that carries your boat. The significance economy is the compass that directs it. You need both, but never let the current decide your destination. Use employment to fund, expose, and distribute your work. Use a cubicle to refine your gift. Use the meetings to practice clarity. Use the paycheck to purchase tools, training, and time for your assignment. The company's platform is the stage. Don't worship the stage, deliver your song. I feel the urgency of a father. Some of you are negotiating with despair because you are asking a paycheck to do what only purpose can do. Stop that abuse. Bread can feed your stomach, it cannot feed your spirit. Why do you labor for that which does not satisfy? The prophet asked. I ask you tonight, will you keep selling your hours while withholding your gift? Or will you harness both economies? Let one pay your rent and let the other build your legacy. We will expose in the next movement how systems discipled you to worship titles, so you kept building altars to salaries. But for now, write this down and seed of a conviction. There are 2 economies in my life, survival and significance. I will not confuse them. I will align them. Timing is leadership. Truth is liberty. Discipline is the bridge. And from this day, I will work my work while I do my job until my work defines my days and my job becomes a joyful platform for service. Let me keep my promise and take you on a tour of your training. History has been your schoolmaster, and it was very intentional. Make a note of this. Systems disciple. They don't just pay you, they shape you. And many of you were discipled, catechized into bowing before titles until labels became altars and credentials became incense. Write this down. Whoever names you owns you. Titles became leashes on human dignity. Let's begin with the Greeks. The Greeks taught the world to worship charisma, outward beauty, golden tongues, sharpened reason. They said leadership was a product of providence and birth traits and the favor of the gods. The word charisma itself became currency. If you could speak with polish, if you carried a certain symmetry of face, if you mastered rhetoric in the forums, you were presumed to be worthy to lead. Not because of purpose, but because of presence. What did I say? Not purpose, presence. True leadership is not about appearance, it is about assignment. But Greek philosophy baptized appearance and made it authority. Then came the Romans. The Romans took Greece's worship of charisma and built an empire of hierarchy upon it. Eagles, insignias, ranks, regalia, the latter became sacred. If you were not on the rung, you were not relevant. Their genius was administrative. Their poison was the sacralizing of chain of command as identity. So people learned to introduce themselves by place in the chain, not by purpose in the world. True leadership is not a rung, it's a reason. But wrong convince you a title is a throne. Now follow me into the ships. Whoever colonized you, convince you. Colonial credentialism emerged as a theology. The right stamp, the right paper, the right school, under the right crown to make you acceptable. They built registries and bureaus to distribute worth by certificate. They did not just take land, they took language. They didn't just impose law, they imposed labels. Write this down. Whoever names you owns you. Adam named the creatures. Naming was authority. Nebuchadnezzar renamed Daniel Belteshazzar to confiscate identity. But Daniel kept praying 3 times a day because names on earth cannot cancel assignments from heaven. Jesus looked at Simon and said, "You shall be called Peter, because heaven also names to restore purpose." Every ideology seeks a theology to justify its labels, and colonial systems often found pulpits willing to preach docility as holiness. Woe to the land when religion becomes the chaplain of oppression. Then the industrial age rang its bell. Literally, time clock schooling put you in rows. Bells ruled your movement. You asked permission to speak. You learned to pass the test, not to discover the gift. You learned to wait for the bell to release you from purpose. Are you hearing me? We built classrooms like factories to manufacture compliance, then exported graduates into factories and offices to become excellent at attendance and poor at assignment. The spreadsheet replaced the soul. The evaluation rubric replaced revelation. You were trained to trade identity for security. That is why you still wait for a supervisor to validate what God already stamped as necessary. Write this down. Degrees became disguises. Positions replaced purpose. People learned to pawn their names for paychecks. I am not against study. I am against surrender. In all you're getting, get understanding, the scripture says. But understanding is not a diploma. It is discernment about who you are and what you must deliver. Jesus warned, "Do not be called rabbi, for one is your teacher, and you are all brothers. And call no man father on earth, not to dishonor mentors, but to dethrone titles from your soul." He was dismantling title addiction. Paul wrote, "Be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Conformity is a system. Transformation is a decision. Let me give you a father's warning. Woe to the land when a slave mentality becomes a manager. You get oppression with a smile. The same bell that ruled him will rule you through him. He will weaponize the policy because he never found his purpose. He will count hours, not outcomes. He will patrol chairs, not character. Oppression with a smile, coffee in the break room, and a leash in the handbook. That is why some of you are bleeding under polite emails. They are not evil, they are empty. And emptiness enforces order to feel important. I sat with a young man, 3 degrees, 4 letters after his last name, a cardstock resume that could cut glass. He said, "Doc, why do I feel like an imposter in a suit that fits?" I told him, because your degrees became a disguise. You covered the question with credentials. Reduce yourself to your first name. What result follows you when nobody is paying you? He wept because no one had asked him who he was without the tassel. Write this down. True leaders reduce themselves to their first name. False leaders hide behind last names and letters. That is why Moses stuttered but liberated nations, and Herod spoke smoothly and killed babies. It is not the polish, it is the purpose. Listen carefully. Employment systems are not your enemy. Confusion is. Use the system. Do not let the system use you. The time clock can teach you discipline. Do not let it define your dignity. The organizational chart can clarify accountability. Do not let it eclipse identity. HR can steward benefits. It cannot bestow worth. Your job can provide a platform. It must not become your source. My help comes from the Lord, the psalmist saying, not from HR. I am the God who gives you power to create wealth. God told Israel, not the God who gives you permission to feel valuable. Write this down and let it offend the disease in your soul. Titles are tools. They are not thrones. Titles are traffic signs. They are not destinations. Titles should serve people. People should not serve titles. History discipled you to chase labels. Purpose invites you to shed them. This is not rebellion. This is redemption. We are redeeming language. We are pulling the ring from your nose and handing it back to heaven. So how do we unlearn? Start by dropping your introductions. When they ask, who are you? Do not lead with rank. Lead with result. I build trust through truth in numbers. I heal fear with ordered care. I unlock potential through questions. I design clarity for complex teams. That is work speaking. And when you walk back into your company tomorrow, walk in as a steward, not a slave. Steward your gift through that structure. Smile at the bell, then listen to your calling. Respect the ladder, then serve down the rungs. And if they try to rename you beyond your assignment, politely return the leash. God has already called you by name. Fear not, he says in Isaiah, I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Say it with me. I will not be owned by what I wear, what I sign, or what they call me. My employment is a platform, not my purpose. My titles bow to my assignment. We are dismantling the altar of labels so that the gift can rise. And when the gift rises, watch how the same systems that tried to name you will need your name to survive. That is the power of a person who remembers who they are. Now let us stand in the center of this revelation. Write this down. True work is the consistent delivery of your gift to solve a recurring problem for others. Not a sporadic performance, not a random act of talent, but consistent delivery, disciplined, dependable, deliberate of your God-given gift, aimed like an arrow at a real need that keeps showing up in people's lives. That is work. And hear me, identity before activity. You are not what you do what you are. You are not made by a role. You are born to a result. No one makes you significant. You were born necessary. Say that with me. I was born necessary. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you, says the Lord. That is Jeremiah 1-5 speaking to your bones. You are his workmanship, created for good works, prepared in advance. That means your assignment predates your appointments. So let me ask you the question that breaks chains. Where did they make you valuable? At HR orientation. That's the question. Did the slideshow confer worth? Did the ID badge upgrade your essence? Or did heaven stamp you with purpose before a department ever filed your paperwork? Write it down. Value is conferred by design, not by designation. Work, therefore, is not what you do for a living. It is what you do with your living. Make a note of this. A paycheck measures time. Your work measures transformation. A job clocks hours. Your work leaves fruit. Jesus said, let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. Not your good attendance, your good works. Works that meet needs. Works that lift burdens. Works that scatter darkness. Because your gift is a lamp in a specific room of human pain. Let me define the trinity of your assignment. Write this down. Your gift is what you carry. Your assignment is who and where you were sent to. Your service is how you deliver it faithfully. Gift, assignment, service. Some of you carry the gift of order. When chaos panics others, you see patterns. Some carry the gift of healing, not only with medicine, but with presence and words that close wounds. Some carry the gift of wisdom. You translate complexity into clarity. Some carry the gift of courage. You go first where others fear. Now marry that gift to an audience and a method. I bring order to overwhelmed founders through systems. I heal anxious patients with structured care and fierce advocacy. I translate complex finance into trustworthy decisions for families. That is the anatomy of work identity becomes assignment. Assignment becomes service. When you serve your gift, you don't seek followers. People are attracted to value. Write it down. True leaders, therefore, do not seek followers. They serve value so well that followers seek them. Proverbs says, a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Not a man's hustle, not a man's title, not a man's marketing, a man's gift. Room is made when value is consistent. Doors open to those who open solutions. Jesus never printed business cards. He answered needs. Crowds located him by the fruit of his work. Let me give you a father's testimony. I did not discover my assignment in a board meeting. I heard an acquired conviction that would not turn off at 3 o'clock in the morning. Elijah did not hear God in the earthquake or the fire, but in a still small voice. Samuel was a child on the floor when he said, speak, Lord, for your servant hears. Moses met his calling not in Pharaoh's court, but by a bush in the backside of a desert. Many of you are waiting for an email to authorize your essence. Stop it. Be still and know. The memo will follow the mandate. The corporate calendar is not the calendar of your calling. Heaven often whispers identity in hidden rooms, then requires you to carry it faithfully into public spaces. Now, let me train your hands. Write this down. Work is worship when it becomes consistent service. Colossians says, whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord and not unto men. That means excellence is your baseline, not your brag. Faithful over little precedes ruler over much, Jesus taught. So design a rhythm. Choose one recurring problem your gift can meet. Deliver a small solution daily. Measure the improvement. Refine. Don't wait for scope. Start with service. Don't chase platforms. Practice patterns. Consistency is the cousin of credibility. Credibility attracts trust. Trust sustains influence. What then is the litmus test? When your day is finished, ask, did my gift touch a real need today? Not did I stay busy, did I move value, did I apply identity before activity? If the answer is no, you worked a job and neglected your work. If the answer is yes, you worship God with your labor, even if no one clapped. True leadership is about becoming more than doing. Becoming produces doing. Reduce yourself to your first name and your primary result. I am David. I build trust through truthful numbers. I am Ruth. I create order that calms fear. Introduce yourself by fruit, not furniture. Let me press this into your conscience. Where did they make you valuable at HR orientation? That's the question. If your answer depends on a signature, your soul is still on probation. But if your answer is grounded in design, God formed me with a gift. He assigned me to a people. I serve them consistently, then your work cannot be downsized. They may change your chair, they cannot change your charge. Peter wrote, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. Steward your grace. Serve your gift. Solve a recurring problem. Identity before activity. This is the nature of work. And when you walk back into that building tomorrow, take your assignment with you. Let the job be your stage and let your gift deliver the play heaven wrote for your name. Now let me put a new lens on the building you walk into tomorrow. Write this down. Your employer rents your time. Never sell your soul. Say it again until it offends your fear. They can rent your hours. They cannot purchase your essence. You were bought with a price, the scripture says, not by HR, but by God. That means your soul already has an owner, and he assigned you a work before they assigned you a role. Gratitude for the job is holy. Surrender of your identity is idolatry. Here is the metaphor. Sit in the palace chair, but do not become the chair. Joseph sat next to Pharaoh. Esther sat beside Ahasuerus. Daniel sat among Babylon's governors. They used the chair to serve their assignment, but they never became upholstery for someone else's ego. Joseph said, God sent me before you to preserve life. Esther heard Mordecai say, who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Daniel purposed in his heart not to defile himself. That's the template. Use the platform to serve your assignment. Refuse to let the platform make you furniture. Write this down. Position is temporary. Assignment is generational. Abraham received the promise for generations. Joseph's leadership fed nations. Daniel's integrity impacted empires. Titles pass from hand to hand. Purpose passes from heart to heart. True leadership is not about a seat. It is about a seed. What did I say? Not a seat, a seed. Your assignment plants solutions that outlive your pay cycle. So before you accept any role, run it through the purpose filter. Will this position expose, refine, and distribute my gift, or will it smother it? If it funds me but blinds me, it is expensive poverty. Shift your mindset today. See your company as a classroom, a laboratory, a distribution channel, not a shrine, a classroom. Extract wisdom, master systems, upgrade your excellence. Solomon said, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. A laboratory, test your gift, prototype solutions, measure results with integrity. A distribution channel. Leverage their platform to deliver value farther and faster than you could alone. Jesus taught from borrowed boats, platforms, and reached multitudes. But hear me, never build altars to boats. Boats are for crossing, not for worshiping. Let me talk to your conscience as a father. Gratitude for the job and loyalty to your work can coexist without conflict. Render to Caesar what is Caesar's time, task, excellence, and to God what is God's identity, integrity, assignment. Daniel served pagan kings with an excellent spirit, yet he opened his window toward Jerusalem and prayed 3 times a day. He was loyal to excellence in Babylon and loyal to identity in God. That is your balance. Do not confuse politeness with surrender. Be kind, be brilliant, be dependable, but never be owned. Write this down. Employment is a platform to fund, expose, and distribute your gift. Use wages to buy tools, training, and time for your assignment. Use meetings to practice clarity. Use deadlines to cultivate discipline. Use conflicts to refine your character. Use customers as a living curriculum to understand needs. And when favor finds you, remember, favor is not a throne. It is a tunnel for your gift to travel through to the people you are called to serve. I had a moment, 3 a.m, staring at a calendar full of corporate invitations. I asked the Lord, am I busy or assigned? He answered me with a sentence I've never forgotten. Treat every table as a desk for your purpose. From that day, the same rooms changed. I stopped begging chairs to approve me. I started using chairs to deliver value. Write this down. Chairs don't confer purpose. Purpose confers value on chairs. A warning with love. Do not let perks pacify you into forgetting your people. Israel begged for a king because they wanted to be like other nations. God let them have Saul, a title without assignment. Woe to the land when a crown sits on an empty head. Do not trade your assignment for applause or access. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Jesus asked. Replace world with workplace. What does it profit you to gain promotions and lose your purpose? Operationalize this tomorrow. Ask your manager, where does our team's work measurably change a life, a process, a customer? May I take responsibility for optimizing that? That question aligns your gift with outcomes. Then ask yourself daily, did I use this platform to practice, prove, and distribute my gift? If the answer is yes, employment is serving purpose. If the answer is no, adjust. You are the steward of your assignment. The company is merely a stagehand. Say this aloud with me until it becomes a reflex. My employer rents my time. My God owns my soul. My job is a platform. My purpose is my assignment. I will sit in the chair, but I will not become the chair. Position is temporary. My assignment is generational. I am grateful for this job, and I am loyal to my work. And starting now, I will use every policy, every project, every paycheck to expose, refine, and distribute my gift until the platform amplifies heaven's intention for my name. Pull out your pen. This is clinic time. Write this down. Your work leaves evidence beyond employment. If it stops with payroll, it wasn't work. Jesus said, by their fruit you shall know them, not by their badge, not by their inbox, by fruit. So let us test the tree. Test one energy. Do you recover energy doing it or only spend it? When you are aligned, the activity may tire your body, but it feeds your spirit. Isaiah wrote, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Alignment renews. Misalignment drains. When you practice your assignment, you leave a meeting more alive than you entered. If you consistently leave your work hollow, that was employment, not work. Make a note of this. True work taxes your muscles, but charges your soul. Test 2, excellence. Do you pursue mastery without external pressure? Daniel served in pagan administrations, and still the scripture says an excellent spirit was found in him. No memo produced it. No KPI threatened it. Excellence is not a manager. It is a spirit. When you are in your work, you study when no one asks, you improve what no one sees, you iterate because mediocrity offends your nature. If you only chase quality when a deadline breathes down your neck, you are employed, but your work is unemployed. Write this down. Purpose makes you a student for life. Titles make you lazy. Test 3, evidence. Who is measurably helped when you do it? Not theoretically measurably. Show me relief. Show me improvement. Show me a before and after. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works, Jesus said. Not good wishes, good works. If you are in customer service, can you show a metric of anxiety reduce and trust increase? If you handle numbers, can you chart decisions made clearer because of your integrity? If your activity leaves no trail of transformed people, perfected processes, healed confusions, or accelerated outcomes, then you were active but not effective. Write this down. Fruit is the receipt of work. Test for endurance. Would you do it if you were not paid today? I didn't say forever today. The shepherd distinguishes himself from the hireling here. Jesus said the hireling flees when the wolf comes because he cares not for the sheep. When you are in your work, pay is gratitude, not permission. Paul made tents but could not keep from preaching. Jeremiah said, his word is like fire, shut up in my bones. If your work exists only under a paycheck, it is a rented costume. True assignment leaks into your free hours and finds expression even when no invoice is issued. Make a note. Compensation is the echo, not the engine. Test 5 E's. Does time disappear in focused flow? Not lazy ease, yoked ease. Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. When oxen are properly yoked, the load moves smoother, farther, faster. When you are rightly yoked to your gift, concentration deepens, distraction fades, and hours compress without resentment. Difficulty remains, you will sweat, but the resistance is developmental, not destructive. If every minute feels like dragging a coffin, you are misyoked. Write this down. Strain that forms you is good. Strain that deforms you is a warning. Test 6 echo. Do strangers affirm the value you create, not just supervisors? Proverbs counsels, let another praise you and not your own mouth, a stranger and not your own lips. Your work sends a signal beyond your org chart. People who owe you nothing and know you little should still feel and name the value you deliver. If affirmation is only vertical from above, it might be politics. When the echo returns from customers, peers across departments and communities you didn't lobby, you are hearing the market of purpose acknowledging fruit. If the only cheerleader is your boss who signs your check, you may be rented applause. Test 7 expansion. Does it multiply into teachable frameworks for others? Work that is truly yours matures from instinct to instruction. A result repeated becomes a method documented becomes a model taught becomes a movement. Jesus did not only heal, he sent and said, teach them to observe all that I commanded you. Moses did not only judge, he systematized and appointed leaders of 10s, 50s, 100s. If you cannot explain how you create the result, scale will suffocate you. Write this down. If it can't be taught, it can't be trusted to multiply. Your work should become curriculum. Now gather the tests into one piercing question. Write this down and let it interrogate your calendar. If your job vanished, would your work continue tomorrow morning? Would people still call you because your gift met a real need? Would you still wake up with a plan to serve the same audience with the same value using different tools? If the answer is no, you have employment without assignment. If the answer is yes, you have discovered work that companies can borrow but never own. I sat with a woman who said, Doc, I'm exhausted. I asked, where is your fruit? She showed me hours, emails, tasks. I said, that is inventory, not impact. We mapped her gift-bringing order to overwhelmed teams. She piloted a 5-step clarity framework in her department. Energy returned. Excellence rose without reminders. Evidence came in shorter project cycles and calmer meetings. Ease increased as time disappeared in focused sprints. Echo arrived, another division asked for her help. Expansion followed. She taught the framework. Others replicated it. That is the anatomy of work. So here is your assignment tonight. Score yourself honestly on each test. Don't perform, diagnose. Pray Psalm 139. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Lead me in the way everlasting. Then adjust your week accordingly. Shift 1 hour from busyness to building your framework. Ask one stranger for candid feedback. Document one method you've used intuitively. Protect trust while you pivot. Say it with me. My work will leave evidence beyond payroll. I will not be employed and unemployed at the same time. I am aligning energy, excellence, evidence, endurance, ease, echo, and expansion until my gift speaks louder than my title and my work continues, with or without a chair. Now that you have examined your tree for fruit, let us put tools in your hands to prune, to shape, to aim. Write this down. Clarity favors the courageous ask and align. Not noise questions, not tantrums, truth. You shall know the truth, Jesus said, and the truth shall make you free. Freedom often arrives dressed as a question. So I am giving you scripts that liberate, because a disciplined tongue can open prison doors. Approach your manager as a citizen leader, not a professional complainer. What is a citizen leader? One who comes with principles, not politics, with outcomes, not outrage, with service, not sulking. Make a note of this. True leadership is not about control, it is about service. And service begins with understanding what matters most to the mission you are paid to advance. Enter that office with honor, preparation, and humility. James wrote, let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Bring ears, not ego. Bring data, not drama. Bring a notebook. You are there to align, not to attack. Here are 3 liberating questions to ask your manager. Write them down word for word and practice them in the mirror. Question 1, could you clarify the top 3 outcomes that matter most to our team this quarter and how we'll know we achieved them? Do not assume you know the target. Secure the bullseye in writing. Ask for metrics, not mysteries. When you know the outcomes, you can align your gift like a laser. Proverbs says, where there is no vision, the people cast off restraint. Lack of outcomes creates waste. Clarity creates discipline. Question 2, based on those outcomes, here is the value my gift consistently produces. State the result you deliver. Where do you see the highest leverage place for me to serve that value? Present your fruit, not your feelings. A man's gift makes room for him, not his grievances. You are not begging, you are offering targeted service. You are saying, here is what I do that moves needles. Where shall I place it for maximum impact? That is statesmanship in a cubicle. Question 3, may we test a 30-day autonomy pilot around this value with clear boundaries and metrics. I will document results weekly and debrief at day 30 to decide if we scale or stop. That sentence is freedom in a sentence. It lowers fear, contains risk, and proves work. Leaders respect pilots because they protect trust. Jesus told a parable of talents. He gave a measure, waited for stewardship, then increased authority. You are inviting stewardship on purpose. Now, 3 clarifying questions for yourself. These you ask heaven, your journal, and your conscience. Find a quiet corner and let the Spirit interrogate your excuses. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. James promise. Question 1, what problem do I solve effortlessly, consistently, and joyfully? Write what keeps coming back for your hands to fix. Effortless does not mean sweatless, it means natural. When David faced Goliath, he reached for what he knew, his sling. He tried on Saul's armor and said, I cannot go with these. Reduce yourself to your sling. What result comes out of you without strain of identity? Question 2, who suffers if I stay silent? Identify your people, the department, the customer, the city, the student, the anxious patient, the confused executive. Paul said, woe is me if I do not preach the gospel. That is assignment language. If you do not serve your value, who remain stuck, confused, or overcharged, put a name on the pain you relieve. Responsibility is born when faces replace abstractions. Question 3, what would excellence look like daily for my assignment in this season? Be specific. How many calls? Which frameworks? What measurements? What reading to sharpen? Excellence is not mystical, it is measurable. Daniel's excellent spirit showed up in interpretive precision and administrative reliability. Yours must show up in routines that can be seen and felt. Let me give you a father's example. A young analyst came to me, exhausted by tasks and invisible to outcomes. I gave him these scripts. He walked into his manager's office and said, here are the 3 dashboards I built that reduce decision time by 48 hours. Where should I concentrate this value to best serve our quarterly outcomes? And may we test a 30-day autonomy pilot where I own the decision time metric for 2 departments. The manager blinked, then smiled. 30 days later, decision time fell by 36 hours. They renewed the pilot for a quarter and expanded it company-wide. The same building, same badge, new alignment. He did not need a new job to start his work. He needed new questions to expose his value and new metrics to defend his freedom. Say this with me. Purpose is not found, it is served into focus. What did I say? Purpose is not found, it is served into focus. Jesus said, ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be open. Asking, seeking, knocking, those are service verbs. You do not discover purpose by staring. You discover it by serving with pointed questions that marry your gift to real outcomes. Operationalize this in the next 7 days. Schedule a 20-minute alignment meeting. Open with honor. Ask the 3 questions. Present your fruit on 1 page, before, after, metrics, people helped. Propose the 30-day pilot with boundaries, scope, time, budget, success, measures, weekly check-ins. Commit to protect, trust, no surprises, no shortcuts, no credit stealing. Then go to your secret place and ask your 3 questions before God. Decide what excellence looks like this week and do it daily. Write this down. Courage is not noise. Courage is a calendar committed to questions that align value with vision. I bless your tongue with wisdom and your hands with discipline. May your questions open rooms your resume could not. May your pilots prove what your titles never did. And may your manager discover what heaven already knows, that when your gift is aligned to real outcomes, everyone prospers. Now we design the bridge. Write this down. Build the bridge while you walk it. Use today's platform to perfect tomorrow's service. Not later now. God does not bless confusion. He blesses order. Ecclesiastes says, in the morning, sow your seed, and in the evening, do not withhold your hand, for you do not know which will prosper, this or that, or whether both alike will be good. Your 9-5 is morning seed funding and feedback. Your 5-9 is evening seed refining and packaging. Both are holy when aligned to assignment. Here is the motto. Day job, funds, and tests. Night work refines and packages. Paul made tents by day and preached by conviction. The tents funded the message. The message gave meaning to the tents. Render to Caesar excellence on the clock, and render to God devotion to your assignment when the clock releases you. Make a note of this. You are not bivocational. You are single purpose with 2 platforms. One pays the bills, the other perfects the blueprint. Do not confuse the payment with the purpose. Prototype in private before you announce in public. Write it down and circle it. Prototype in private. Jesus spent 30 years in obscurity and 3 years in public. Moses spent 40 years in the backside of a desert before facing Pharaoh. David killed a lion and a bear before he faced Goliath. Private victories qualify public voices. Stop advertising drafts. Let fruit speak before your mouth does. Faith without works is dead, James wrote, and talk without tests is deception. Build version 0. One, when nobody is watching, by the time you speak, you will be on version 1.7 with evidence. Establish a weekly rhythm. Write this down. One problem, one process, one person repeat until results compound. One problem, choose a recurring, concrete pain your gift naturally heals. Name it precisely. Decision delay by 48 hours, not communication issues. One process, craft a simple, repeatable method to address that pain, 3 to 5 steps, no fluff. One person, serve a real human being or team with that process this week. Then evaluate, refine, and run it again. This is how you turn instinct into instruction. Habakkuk said, write the vision and make it plain, that he may run who reads it. Make your process readable, runnable, and refinable. Artifact creation is not optional. It is stewardship. Write this down. Turn your know-how into show-how. Produce frameworks, checklists, templates, scripts, and case studies. If you bring clarity, document your clarity in 15 minutes checklist. If you shorten cycles, formalize a cycle compressed 3x3 framework. If you build trust with numbers, create a truthful numbers dashboard with before, after snapshots. Give everything a name. Give every name a promise. Give every promise a proof. Proverbs 22:29 declares, do you see a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Diligence looks like documented methods, not just heroic memories. Distribute ethically and incrementally. Pilot with colleagues during sanctioned times. Lunch and learns. Brown bag sessions. Internal forums with your manager's blessing. Outside the office, gather small groups in your community, 3 to 6 people on a Saturday morning, a Zoom cohort after dinner, and run the same process. Measure impact, collect proof. Testimonies are data with faces. Build a proof library. Before, after charts, time saved, anxiety reduced, dollars protected, errors decreased, decisions accelerated. Jesus told the lepers, go show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. Go show the priests of your context, your manager, your market, your mentees, the evidence of your work. Guard your name like a vault. Write this down. Excellence at work protects trust. Arrive early, deliver more, gossip never. Daniel distinguished himself because an excellent spirit was in him. When enemies searched his record, they found no corruption. Do not steal your employer's time to build your after-hours assets. God will not bless theft in the name of destiny. Keep confidences. Respect non-disclosures. If you must use examples, scrub the details. Let your light shine, not your employer's private data. True leadership is not about power. It is about empowerment, and empowerment is made of trust. The only thing a leader works with is trust. Protect it. Schedule the bridge into your calendar. Do not trust inspiration. Trust structure. Monday through Thursday, on the job, aim your gift at one chosen problem and log outcomes. In your 5-9, spend 45, 60 minutes refining the process you use that day, update a checklist, name a step, record a short Loom video explaining the method. Friday, compile a 1-page case study, problem, process, proof. Saturday morning, host a micro workshop for 3 people. Teach the process. Collect feedback, note results. Sunday, rest, worship, and plan. The next week, what problem will you repeat? What process will you refine? Which person will you serve? 6 days you shall labor, Exodus reminds us, and the 7th is a Sabbath to the Lord. Rhythm is holy. Build in numbers. Write this down. 10 private reps before 1 public announcement. Run your process 10 times in quiet corners before you post about it, pitch it, or print it. By rep 5, you will see patterns. By rep 8, you will have language. By rep 10, you will have confidence. After 10, design version 2 and create a 60-minute workshop with slides that are 80% proof, 20% principle. Then, offer the workshop for free to a small group. Do not sell your infancy. Let excellence create demand. Proverbs says, let another praise you and not your own mouth. Let echo find you. Integrate your 3-0 day pilot with this bridge. On day 1, align with your manager's outcomes and secure permission to own a metric. During the month, your 9-5 generates data. Your 5-9 distills that data into assets, frameworks, checklists, and a digestible report. At day 30, debrief with leadership, present outcomes, propose scale. Simultaneously, share a sanitized case study with your Saturday cohort and teach the method, the same gift, 2 platforms, 1 integrity. If leadership says, not now, your work continues after hours with clean hands and a clear conscience. Doors closed, assignment doesn't. A father's warning with love. Do not outpace your character with your calendar. If late arrivals, missed deadlines, and loose tongues decorate your days, you are building a bridge with rotten planks. He who is faithful in little is faithful also in much, Jesus said. Arrive early, keep your word, return emails, credit others, admit errors promptly, say less in meetings and do more afterward, reduce your opinions and increase your outcomes. This is how you carry favor without becoming intoxicated by it. Say it aloud until your bones believe it. My 9-5 is my lab. My 5-9 is my forge. I will prototype in private, protect, trust in public, and let fruit do the talking. One problem, one process, one person repeat until results compound. I will turn know-how into show-how, and I will gather proof like a wise steward. I will arrive early, deliver more, and gossip never. And I will build the bridge while I walk it, using today's platform to perfect tomorrow's service until my assignment stands on its own feet and my name means value in the mouths of strangers. Now, before we take another step on that bridge, we must pour concrete into its beams. Write this down. The only thing a leader works with is trust. Not budgets, trust. Not followers, trust. Not slogans, trust. Proverbs declares a good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Your name is the currency of your future. Listen to me. As a father, your work cannot outrun your character. If it tries, it will embarrass your gift. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men, scripture says, but your gift may open the door. Only your character lets you stay in the room. True leadership is not about power. It is about empowerment. True leadership is not about image. It is about integrity. Image can get you a like. Integrity gets you a legacy. Image can attract a crowd. Integrity builds a community. Crowds are noisy. Communities are loyal. Loyalty is born of trust, and trust is born of character under pressure. Write this down. Pressure doesn't create character. It reveals it. The test is coming. Prepare before it arrives. Let me give you 5 disciplines that build a name you can take to the bank. Put them in your phone. Put them on your mirror. Discipline. 1, integrity with time. Redeem the time, Paul wrote. Number your days, Moses prayed. Your calendar is a moral document. Let your yes be yes and your no be no on time. Show up 5 minutes early, end when you said. Time stamp your promises and track them in writing. When you are late, you are lying softly. Make a note of this. People don't first distrust your talent. They distrust your timing. Discipline. 2, excellence in small tasks. He who is faithful in little is faithful also in much. Jesus taught. Little looks like file names others never see. Meeting notes others never asked for. Margins aligned on the slide deck you could have rushed. Daniel's excellent spirit showed up in predictable precision. They could find no corruption in him. Sweep the corners, wipe the fingerprints, do it when no one is watching, because someone always is. Discipline. 3, stewardship of resources. It is required of stewards that they be found faithful. That laptop is not yours. Treat it like borrowed treasure. Those budgets are not your playground. Account for every cent. Jesus fed 5,000 and still said, gather the fragments so that nothing is wasted. Waste is unfaithfulness with another name. Keep receipts. Protect data. Close tabs you shouldn't open. God will not fund theft dressed as vision. Discipline. 4, compassion in conflict. A soft answer turns away wrath, Proverbs counsels. When tension rises, don't win arguments, win people. Listen first, name their concern. Protect their dignity while you protect the truth. Never weaponize facts to humiliate. Mercy is not weakness, it is wisdom. The person you spare today becomes the ally that shields you tomorrow. Write this down. Compassion deposits trust in accounts you will one day need to draw from. Discipline. 5. Self-control under pressure. He who rules his spirit is better than he who takes a city. Anybody can conquer a market. Few can conquer their mouth at 11:47 p.m. Draft the email and sleep on it. Count to 30 before you answer. Step outside for air. Do not sign contracts in adrenaline. Beware of urgent people who ask you to betray slow principles. True leaders don't manipulate, they inspire. Inspiration flows from a quiet spirit, not a frantic one. Now, practical guardrails. Document promises. After every meeting, send a 1-paragraph recap. Here's what I heard, here's what I'll do, here's when I'll deliver. This saves relationships from, I thought you said, under promise and over deliver. Give yourself a buffer. Surprise on the early side. Refuse shortcuts that injure trust. Say no to copying what isn't yours, to shading the performance number, to hiding a risk, to meet a date. Let me say it strong. If you must wound trust to win, you've already lost. Make a note of this. Speed that strips screws will collapse the chair. Sit on it and you will fall publicly. A story to warn and to lift. 2 project leads began a critical rollout. One boasted, we will deliver in 14 days. Watch me. He hit the date by skipping tests and silencing a junior analyst who raised a risk. Week 3, the system crashed. Clients left. The board asked questions. He discovered he had power without trust. The other lead said, we can deliver in 21 days. I'll show weekly proof and secure sign-off at each gate. She under-promised, over-delivered in 19, documented every decision, and thanked the junior analyst in public. When the storm came, her name protected the company. 12 months later, guess who was asked to design the enterprise standard? Write this down. Results excite people. Reliability secures power. I had a moment like this at 3 a.m. once I argued with God about a public invitation. He said, protect your name. I gave it to you. And he reminded me, Saul had armor and title. David had character and a sling. Titles may shield you in a moment. Character shelters you in a lifetime. He who walks in integrity walks securely. The proverb sings. Say it out loud. My gift will open doors. My character will keep me in the room. What did I say? My gift will open doors. My character will keep me in the room. From tonight, I will discipline myself to protect trust. I will document my promises, deliver earlier than I said, tell the truth quickly, apologize without excuses, refuse shortcuts that bruise confidence, and choose compassion over conquest in conflict. True leadership is not about power, it is about empowerment, and empowerment is only issued to those heaven and humans can trust. Guard your name. When trust becomes your currency, influence becomes your inheritance. Now we speak about time. Write this down. Timing is leadership. Move when purpose is confirmed, not when emotions are loud. Ecclesiastes declares, to everything there is a season and a time, to every purpose under heaven. Leaders read seasons. Fools read feelings. Make a note of this. Your gift is a seed, your job is soil, your work is fruit, and time is the climate. Misread the climate, and you scorch a good seed or rot a healthy root. Let me give you a simple clock you can carry in your spirit. Sow, grow, show, go. Say it with me. Sow, grow, show, go. Sowing is the season of faithful planting, quiet learning, hidden practices, prototypes nobody sees. Growing is discipline, repetition, roots going down, routines becoming muscle, methods tested and improved. Showing is evidence, fruit appears, testimony stacked, favor recognizes reliability. Going is assignment, mobility. The tree is strong enough to be transplanted to a wider field without dying. Write this down. Don't demand a go when you are still in sow. If you force a harvest before roots are deep, a breeze will become a hurricane. How do you know when to stay? 4 signals clear as day if you discipline your eyes. Number 1, learning is high. When every week delivers new mastery, when your questions are refining your methods, when mentors still surround you like guardrails, stay. Proverbs says, the wise in heart will receive commands. Don't leave a classroom while the teacher's still talking. Number 2, impact is rising. Watch the graphs. Cycle time dropping, error rates declining, anxiety easing where you serve. If the needle keeps moving because your process keeps improving, you are not stuck, you are compounding. Stay. Number 3, favor is evident. Doors open without knocking. Leaders call your name in rooms you didn't enter. Budgets find your projects. Colleagues ask to be on your pilots. Favor is heaven's yes through human mouths. Don't despise it. Number 4, character is still maturing. If lateness still stalks you, if your temper still negotiates your emails, if your appetite still pulls your feet, you're not ready for a bigger stage. He that rules his spirit is better than he that takes a city. Stay and master yourself. Write this down. Never export an unfinished self. And how do you know when to step? 4 sober witnesses must agree. First, misalignment persists. You asked the liberating questions. You designed the 3 zero-day pilots. You delivered proof. Still, your gift is consistently parked away from real outcomes. You are applauded but unused. That's misalignment. The second, ethical compromise is required. If to advance you must wound trust, shade truth, steal time, or burn people, run. Better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. God will never require sin to fulfill purpose. The third, a ceiling blocks service, not a stretch, a ceiling. Excellence, results, and initiative meet an institutional lid that refuses value to scale politics over purpose, image over impact. When your tree presses the roof and cannot breathe, transplantation must be considered. The fourth, confirmed counsel agrees. In the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Not your echo chamber wise, seasoned, unafraid friends, a mentor who gains nothing from your move, and your own spirit at peace in prayer. Write this down. Don't resign from frustration, transition from confirmation. What did I say? Don't resign from frustration, transition from confirmation. But confirmation without preparation is presumption. Joseph saved in the fat years for the lean ones. Build a storehouse before you step. Write this down. Risk management is wisdom in shoes. 3 commands. 1, build reserves. Aim for 6 to 9 months of essential expenses and begin by setting aside 20% of every surplus like Joseph's fifth. If you can't save while funded, you won't survive while forming. 2, secure first clients before you leap, not dreams, agreements. Land 2 pilot retainers or letters of intent connected to the very process you refined in your 5-9. Small is fine, sign is necessary. 3, replace 1 stream with 2 smaller streams before you cut the salary cord. A modest retainer plus a workshop cohort, a service package plus a licensing fee. 2 ropes hold better than 1 when you cross a chasm. Be diligent to know the state of your flocks, Proverbs says. Count your sheep before you leave the pen. Let me give you a 90-day runway that honors both heaven and humans. Days 130. Intensify your soul and grow. Document everything. Run 3 more private reps of your signature process. Sanitize case studies. Quietly approach 2 prospects after hours with permission. Here is the problem I solve, the process I use, and the proof I bring. May we run a 30-day paid pilot. Days 3160. When pilots begin, increase reserves and reduce lifestyle creep. Sell what you don't need. Close subscriptions. Free your future with disciplined subtraction. Day 6190. If outcomes hit targets and counsel confirms, draft a gracious transition plan with your manager knowledge transfer, documentation, and a proposed end date that protects mission and trust. Then When the peace remains after prayer, step. And when you step, bless the bridge. Write this down. Exit with honor. Relationships are part of your distribution network. Do not sneak out like a thief. Depart like a statesman. Give proper notice. Offer to train your replacement. Deliver a handover folder with SOPs, contacts, passwords, and timelines. Thank people publicly, peers, assistants, the junior analysts who saved your project. Write 3 recommendation notes for colleagues without being asked. Ask for a written reference while warmth is present. Do an exit debrief that tells the truth with dignity. Jacob and Laban set up a heap and said, "The Lord watch between me and thee." Make a covenant with your history. No slander, no secrets, no sabotage. Jesus said, bless those who curse you. If no one curses you, bless them anyway. The bridge you bless becomes a river that carries clients back to you. The bridge you burn becomes smoke that chokes your future. A warning with love. Do not mistake boredom for timing. Boredom is often a sign you stop learning, not that the season is over. Ask for a bigger problem. Propose a new metric to own. Teach others what you know. Sometimes the goal is not to leave the building, it is to leave your comfort in the building. And do not romanticize escape. The wilderness tests motives. If you are running from correction, you will find the same mirror in a new office, only pricier. Say this with me until your soul believes it. Timing is leadership. I will not move on a mood, I will move on a mandate. I will read my season, sow, grow, show, go. I will stay when learning is high, impact is rising, favor is evident, and character is maturing. I will step when misalignment persists, compromise is demanded, a ceiling blocks service, and confirmed counsel agrees. I will not resign from frustration, I will transition from confirmation. I will build reserves, secure first clients, and replace one stream with 2 before I leap. And I will bless the bridge, because people are the pipes God uses to distribute my work. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, the psalmist wrote. Order your steps and your steps will be ordered. Move in season and doors will open without violence. When purpose says now and peace nods, yes, go and go clean. Now we act. Write this down. Clarity compounds through disciplined action. Not someday 30 days. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, James warns. You don't find purpose by thinking harder. You reveal purpose by serving faithfully. Faith is obedience in motion, and motion needs a map. Here is your map. For the next 30 days, choose one problem your gift naturally solves. Only one. Narrow is powerful. Name it precisely. Reduce decision delay by 24 hours. Eliminate duplicate errors in onboarding. Shorten proposal turnaround from 7 days to 3. Quiet executive anxiety before board meetings. What did I say? One problem. Then serve 10 people with that solution in 30 days. 10 real humans, not ideas in your head. 2 or 3 each week. 1 on a Saturday morning if needed. Measure outcomes every time. Minutes saved, dollars protected, errors prevented, confidence increased. Document your process as you go, steps, scripts, tools, timestamps, and refine your offer by day 30 based on evidence, not ego. Jesus told 10 lepers, go show yourselves to the priests. And as they went, they were cleansed. As you go, you will be clarified. Adopt a daily rule of life. Write this down. 1 hour of craft. 1 act of service, 1 page of documentation, 1 ask for feedback every day, 6 days a week. 1 hour of craft, deepen skill, study exemplars, rehearse your method till it sings. 1 act of service, apply your process to a real person or a real piece of work that moves a real needle. 1 page of documentation, capture what you did, how you did it, and what changed, make it plain so others can run. 1 ask for feedback. Humble yourself and request a specific critique from someone you served. What was most useful? What was unclear? What should I change? 6 days you shall labor, God said, and the 7th is a Sabbath to the Lord. Rest the 7th. On that day, read your pages, thank your helpers, and plan the next 6. Daily bread comes to daily discipline. Structure your 30 days in 4 simple weeks. Week 1, define the problem, draft a 3 to 5 step process, and recruit your first 3 participants with consent and clear expectations. Week 2, run 3 more reps, refine language, and begin naming your framework. Give it a title and a promise. Week 3, run your next 3 standardized templates and collect before, after evidence in a single folder. Week 4, serve your final one. Synthesize all 10. Design a 1-page case study and a simple offer. Here's the problem I solve, the process I use, the proof I have, and the promise I keep. Write the vision and make it plain, Habakkuk says, that he may run who reads it. Make it runnable. Do not run alone. Create a small circle of 3 for accountability and honest metrics. Write this down. 2 are better than 1, Ecclesiastes teaches. For if they fall, 1 will lift up his fellow. Choose a truth-telling peer, a potential or current client who benefits from your work, and a seasoned mentor who owes you nothing. Meet for 20 minutes once a week, same time, same link, cameras on, numbers ready. Report the 4 dailies. Did you keep your hour, your service, your page, your ask? Report people served, outcomes measured, trust protected, confess temptations, cutting corners, inflating numbers, stealing time. Pray briefly. Iron sharpens iron. Proverbs says sparks make steel, not smoke. Make a note of this. Your scorecard is simple. 10 people served, 10 measurable outcomes, 10 pages of documented learning, 10 feedback notes, and 1 refined offer by day 30. If you miss a day, don't miss 2. If a plan fails, refine the plan, not your integrity. He who is faithful in very careful, also in much, Jesus taught. Heaven promotes based on faithfulness, not fame. Now your mouth must lead your feet. Identity rituals, say it with me. My job is a tool. My work is my assignment. Again, my job is a tool. My work is my assignment. I will use employment to deliver purpose. I am not my title. I am my gift and service. Reduce yourself to your first name and declare your service. Say it now. Say your first name. I reduce myself to purpose. I solve, name the problem through name your process, and I serve with truth. It is God who gives you the power to get wealth, Moses recorded, to establish his covenant. The power is your gift discipline. The wealth is the fruit of your service. The covenant is his purpose on display. I bless you with a father's charge. Discipline yourself to protect trust. Tell the truth quickly. Keep confidences fiercely. Give credit freely. Keep time holy. Put your name only on what you are willing to defend in public. Refuse shortcuts that bruise trust. And when success begins to knock, bend lower, not higher. Reduce yourself to your first name and serve. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs instructs, choose your name every day for 30 days, and riches will chase integrity. Lift your hands, receive this. May the Lord establish the work of your hands. Yes, establish the work of your hands. May favor find your diligence. May doors open without violence. May counsel confirm your steps, and may your evidence speak louder than your adjectives. Now go 30 days, 1 problem, 10 people. Daily rule, circle of 3. Document, measure, refine. Purpose becomes visible when you serve it daily. Start small, be consistent, protect trust, and let your fruit do the talking.